Hello and welcome back to Premier League Prime Time. It is just me here today as Manchester United fall at Old Trafford by a goal to nil against Arsenal. And wow, I just wanted to make this so you can hear from me and just me, purely from me personally. Um, I'm I'm absolutely shell shocked. I was not expecting us to win. I was expecting this to just be a nil-nil draw. Both Solskjaer and Arteta looking to play on the break, and for as much as I banter Mikel Arteta and Arsenal sometimes, they were brilliant today. Arsenal absolutely bossed Manchester United today in every way, shape, and form. Thomas Partey, um, now I feel like such a fool for saying put Fred in, but I only said just based off of form. But Thomas Partey was spectacular today. Gabriel as well. Mohamed El Neni, I have never seen this guy do some of the things that he did today in the past. I've never seen it. And um, the attack was a bit unlucky a lot of the times. But I think the biggest pointers to them, Leno really had nothing to do. Gabriel was immense. This guy was a colossus. And again, 26 million pounds from Lille. And and this guy, in my opinion, at the moment is the best center back in the Premier League. I don't care what anybody tells me. As much as I banter Arsenal, I will back them on this one. Because this guy has been crucial to them, and I've said it, in almost every episode so far. Kieran Tierney was brilliant today. He was fantastic. Manchester United, on that right hand side, whether it's the right hand side of the diamond or Mason Greenwood, just could not handle Kieran Tierney. The wing backs were also brilliant. Bellerin getting up and down that right hand side, and Bukayo Saka was immense. He gave the ball away a couple times, but it didn't really matter, as they ended up bossing the game anyways. And I'm sure Sirius is watching this. He is probably absolutely delighted and and ready to tear me a new one in the next episode. But yeah, Arsenal were just spectacular. They were phenomenal in every way, shape, and form. Mikel Arteta, I gotta say, I was wrong. I was wrong about. I was listening the other day, and yeah, I was massively wrong. And it is another classic Mikel Arteta's masterclass. He was tactically on point every way, shape, and form. And now this is where I shift into Manchester United, and once again, abysmal, and we're absolutely clueless. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is a guy who I've backed, for so long, and for a guy that I love, he's my favorite player of all time. For people who didn't know, but I'm really starting to get to the point where I'm thinking, maybe look at other options, like, is he, the best manager in the world? No, he's very far from it. And Mikel Arteta was tactically superb in every way, shape, and form today. And once again, it just shows that Ollie lacks the experience. Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick and Mike Phelan, they're all past it, or they're it looks like they're clueless. Because for me, you can't really blame David De Gea for any of the goals. Our defense was just looked panicked the whole time. Our midfield, some of the selections I'm seeing, I just shell shocked. And Marcus Rashford, it just shows that he needs someone. He needs an actual striker next to him. As well as Mason was at times. Both of them were largely anonymous throughout the game. Bruno Fernandes, largely anonymous throughout the game. I love Bruno Fernandes, but he was hugely anonymous throughout the game. And yeah, but I'm so disappointed and just so largely shocked at how poor Manchester United were today. And as a fan, and I'm sure Jose is feeling this. I'm sure. Shout out to Carson and Huck. Both of them are probably furious right now. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't blame them. Because I mean, I was expecting, this to be a pretty even game, to just this be a pretty boring, 0-0, 1-1, 2-2 kind of draw. But I have to say, Arteta tactically, and I'll say it again, Arteta tactically masterclass Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today. And for me, I'm just even my collar's wrong. Everything's gone wrong for me today. But yeah, it's just poor. It's poor. It's not good enough for Manchester United, and they looked clueless from minute 1 to minute 90. And Sirius was telling me after the game, and he's absolutely spot on. Arsenal bullied Manchester United, and as much as I hate to see it, he's absolutely right. He's right in every way, in every single way, shape, and form. He is right. They bullied Manchester United from minute 1. And yeah, it was dreadful, absolutely dreadful performance from Manchester United. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for me, takes the vast majority of the blame for this defeat. But I'm here to give my own player ratings for Manchester United. I'll just give my player ratings for Manchester United. I'll start with that. In goal, David De Gea. If it weren't for David De Gea, this game could have potentially been maybe 3-4-0. He made some very, very good saves. One on, I think he made a couple on Bukayo Saka, one on Thomas Partey, one on El Neni. David De Gea had a decent game today. I'm not gonna lie. A couple nervy moments, but with the penalty, I mean, it's like, what can you do? I mean, it's a penalty. Really, it's a 50-50 chance of getting onto it, and especially when you're coming across, this isn't just some random bloke. He's up against Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, one of the best strikers in the world, not just the Premier League, in the world. And you know what? There really wasn't much he could do, to be honest with you. He did make some good saves. People call me delusional, but I'll give him a 7. Because there really is, what could he do, to be honest with you? Not a whole lot. And he definitely made some very, very good saves. Right back, Wan-Bissaka, definitely looks shaky. He definitely looks like he went back to, post lockdown Wan-Bissaka. He was getting roasted and toasted by Saka a couple times. And he did not look like to be at his best. But he was one of the better of the back four. Really, really not convincing. I'll give him a 4. Moving into that right center back slot, Victor Lindelof. And this and I felt sorry for him. He's always being overlooked, always because Harry Maguire is next to him. I do feel sorry for him. Because to be honest with you, he had a decent game. To be honest with you, again, people are gonna call me crazy, but I thought Lindelof was okay. For me, he was probably the best out of the back four. And he really didn't put a lot wrong. He really didn't, in my opinion. It's unfortunate how he's on the losing side. And he looked a frustrated man, especially at the end of the game. There was a play where El Neni and Eddie Nketiah were working together, and they were pressing him out of the pitch, and he was trying to dribble around. Nobody was showing for him, and I think he just deliberately dribbled the ball straight out of play. And he was looking around. He was looking around. He was throwing his hands up in the air, screaming at his teammates to help him out. And not only does that just come down to frustration, That just comes down with Mikel Arteta's style of press, 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 press. Their pressing was superb today. Mikel Arteta's side pressed the life out of Manchester United today, and we could not cope with it. Some people could call me biased and call me what they want, but at the end of the day, I'm real. And when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. And Manchester United did everything wrong today. Everything was wrong. Everything went bad for us from minute 1 to 90. And especially from the first half. I have no idea how we go in the first half, lucky to be 0-0 and coming back out and having the same 11 doing the same old thing. If anyone can explain that to me, be my guest. Anyways, moving into the left center back role, Harry Maguire, and again, I'm gonna say it again. He definitely not as bad as he was against Tottenham. I'll say that. But again, unconvincing again, and I'll say it again. Why is this guy the captain? Why does this guy have the captain's armband? I mean, this is a guy who, again, I praise. No, not that I praise, but I put my neck on the line for a lot. And I'll say it again. I mean, this isn't a guy who just doesn't have talent. Because of course, I'm already seeing the memes. 80 million pounds for a fridge. Today, he was more fridge than center back. I mean, what can I say? I really don't know what to say about Harry Maguire. And I'll say, as I've said almost every time when we're talking about Harry Maguire, he's not a captain. Give the captaincy to Bruno Fernandes. He's clearly the leader. On that header, I have no idea how he put that wide. And in the midst as I was watching that game, when I saw right before Luke Shaw put that ball in, and I was talking to myself and saying to myself, you know what? I'm for whatever reason, I'm just feeling a Harry Maguire header. I'm feeling it, and Harry Maguire headers it wide. Almost a point blank range header. Don't really get that. And again, it's another really poor, unconvincing performance from Harry Maguire. And especially how you're the captain. That's automatically a point docked below Lindelof, because you're the captain. You should be the first one, getting up in the referee's face, organizing the guys alongside you, looking at the midfield ahead of you, saying, Fred, you go here, McTominay, you go here, Pogba there, Bruno, stay ahead, Shaw, I need you to cover me, Victor, stay central, Wan-Bissaka, go right. Just, there's none of it. There's literally none of it. I have never seen less communication in my life, honestly. I'm sorry, but no, no. Harry Maguire, 2.5, and he is lucky he gets that 2.5. And left back Luke Shaw. And again, same thing as I've always said. He was definitely better than Maguire for me. But yeah, you just really, it's poor again. So many times I would see Hector Bellerin just have a free cross on the right-hand side, and Luke Shaw's always short to it. Like, why are you stepping up to that? Seriously. And we sorely miss Alex Telles. And why Alex Telles hasn't started a Premier League game? No idea. Is it just by chance that he got COVID, right, before Chelsea? I don't know, but anyways, speaking of Alex Telles, best wishes from us at Premier League Prime Time, regardless of whether you see this or not, for your safe recovery, and we hope, and especially I hope, all of us Manchester United fans can see you back on the pitch soon, because we sorely miss you. But yeah, Luke Shaw, not great. 3.5, just somewhere around there. Into the midfield, and we'll start with Scott McTominay, because I want to get this out of the way. Okay, this is where I really don't get why this guy is in the starting 11. I don't get why this guy is playing more minutes than Donny van de Beek. I don't get it. I really don't. We come out of halftime, right? And Scott McTominay's already been very, very poor. We go into the second half, and then you're midway through the second half, he takes off Bruno Fernandes, the guy we brought in January. Okay, yes, by means he's definitely not having the best of nights, but he's taking off arguably our best player going forward, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and brings on Donny van de Beek, which of course does the right thing. But apparently he thinks Donny van de Beek and Bruno Fernandes don't play or can't play together. Even though it happened against Newcastle, and when Van de Beek came on, those two were crucial in us battering them 4-1. Why he does this? Not a question for me. That's a question to ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I don't get it. But especially with Scott McTominay, I don't get why Ole picks him. That comes down to the manager. I don't get why he's starting games. I feel a bit sorry for Scott McTominay. He's not the one putting himself in there. I'm sure he'd like to, but he's not the one saying, "Oh, I'm starting." I mean, it's definitely a managerial decision that's made. And another thing, why is and yes, I know Fred had a yellow card, but why is Fred always subbed off almost every single time before Scott McTominay? So there's only one thing it can be: favoritism, and that is crap. There should be no room for sentiment bullshit. I'm not in it, and I apologize for the language, but no, literally it just makes me fuming. It's just not good enough. It really isn't. And Scott McTominay was awful. Probably the biggest probably his two biggest contributions to the game. The first one, probably the most or the biggest thing he did, pushing Aubameyang, towards the sidelines when he was slowly, limping off, pushing him, down, pushing him out. That was the first thing, and then the second thing, he's running at Arsenal's back six now, and he tries to play a 40-yard pass, and he plays it right to an Arsenal player, killing a momentum of another attacking opportunity. Don't get it. Scott McTominay was by far the worst player on the pitch. And Scott McTominay gets a 1. Awful. Next midfielder, Fred. And this is another guy I feel sorry for. He's always the victim of Ole's favoritism. This is a guy who just does not stop running. This guy brings all the versatility. He brings the mobility to midfield that you don't see with McTominay and Matic. It's shocking. I did understand Solskjaer's decision to take him off because of a yellow card, and we don't want to lose him in the next game. But Fred was definitely one of the better players on the pitch today. But still at the same time, he wasn't great. There was definitely a couple times. There's definitely one key moment where he just lost the ball to Lacazette and also and Aubameyang almost scored off that counterattack, and yeah, not great. But by far better than McTominay. I'll give him a 4 purely because he just does not stop running. And then on the left side of the diamond, you have Paul Pogba, and I stick my neck on the line for this guy so much. Paul Pogba is more or less, one of the main pivotal reasons why we lost that game. Stupid penalty he gave away. Do I think the penalty was soft? Yes, I do. Bellerin was definitely smart and definitely saw the contact coming, and when it happened, he went down. Very smart from Hector Bellerin there. But yeah, I have no idea why. Bellerin was going towards the end line. He wasn't cutting inside towards the goal. And Pogba just tripped him. I appreciate him coming out and saying it's his responsibility. But yeah, and again, and Pogba just got dominated by the superb duo Mohamed El Neni and Thomas Partey, who were both exceptional for Arsenal. It was just it was poor. It was poor from Paul Pogba. But a positive, I guess. He definitely was trying to create things going forward. Um, 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 but again, I definitely have to mark him down because of the penalty. A 3 or a 4 would be sufficient. And going and spearheading that diamond, Bruno Fernandes, largely anonymous throughout the game. Sometimes, I'd have to look at my phone and check it and see if he was still playing. And of course, that Arsenal backline just took him out of the game. And we'll probably find him in the back of Kieran Tierney's pocket or Gabriel's pocket or Rob Holding's pocket. Any one of them. But yeah, poor from Bruno Fernandes. As much as I love the guy, anonymous today. The one thing I will give him is that he was definitely trying to lead on the pitch. He was trying to guide and direct players where to go. He tried to tell the team to step. He'd be directing them to shift. He was acting like a real captain. And for that, that's why he should get that armband from Harry Maguire. And for that, I'll give him the same as Fred. He gets a 4. And then going into that striking duo, first up, Marcus Rashford, anonymous. He created a couple chances, but largely anonymous. This is definitely not the Marcus Rashford I was hoping for. Especially coming off of his 23rd birthday yesterday on Halloween. And this is like the dire opposite Marcus Rashford that we saw against Leipzig. That Marcus Rashford was clinical, deadly, outstanding. This one was anonymous and spent his time, keeping himself snug and cozy in Gabriel's pocket. It was just poor, not good enough. And it shows that if you're going to play Rashford in a 2, you have to play Martial or Cavani alongside him. Yes, he was great playing Mason, but you need someone with some experience, someone with some know-how of how to play that striker's role. Yes, it worked against Leipzig, but I really thought for this game Cavani should have started and played. Marcus Rashford gets a 3. And then partnering in Mason Greenwood, I'll give him the same as Rashford. He gets a 3 as well. He definitely sat Tierney and Gabriel down a couple times. He definitely was causing the slightest bit of problems. But yeah, not enough problems. And not enough problems, to be good enough. And that performance just wasn't good enough. Mason gets a 3. Coming off the bench, and first of all, Nemanja Matic, and I guess I can give him a sufficient rating. To be honest with you, he was really, of course we know he's slow because, that's what you get with Nemanja Matic, don't you? But yeah, didn't really do a whole lot wrong, but he really didn't help in any way, shape, or form. Matic will give a 4. Next was Donny van de Beek. He was okay. He created a couple chances, a couple crosses. One of the crosses hit off Holding, and then hit the post. And then hit off of Leno's header face, and then hit the post again. He definitely tried. He definitely tried. I guess I really have to go down the middle. I'll give him a 5. And Edison Cavani, again, just swap. And with Cavani, I'll say Greenwood jumped out of Tierney's pocket and left the pitch. And Cavani, when he entered the pitch, he jumped right into Rob Holding's pocket. It was just that simple. And yeah, it was I mean, not that he could do anything because you got to give this guy service, and he just got none of it. But yeah, largely anonymous. 4, I guess. I'll change. And you know what? Going back to Mason Greenwood, he did slightly better than Rashford for me because at least he was causing some problems. I'll give him a 4 actually. And then managers rating, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets a 2. I have no idea why McTominay is starting, and Ole's done this now for the past couple games. I really don't get it with McTominay. It's just he really stems a reflection off from the manager. Passion. The guy's got a lot of passion. But not a whole lot of not a whole lot of footballing know-how. And I like Scott McTominay. I do like the lad, but he's a squad player at best, and McTominay should not be starting games for Manchester United. And for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to take off Bruno Fernandes and to put in Donny van de Beek, and the fact how he didn't play both of them together, she says everything you need to know. Again, tactically naive. Arteta absolutely tactically outdid Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today, and it was just so poor. Aubameyang is now made Old Trafford his new dance floor. That simple. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets it too. And if Sears Rome right now, I'll just say this about the Arsenal player ratings. For me, other than Leno, who didn't have a lot to do, which I would give a 6. I would honestly give no Arsenal player below a 7, 6 or 7. I really wouldn't. Even Aubameyang and Lacazette and Willian, who were largely anonymous. Not that they were anonymous, but they really didn't come too much to life. The main focus was in defense and midfield. I'd give the entirety of. I'll give Gabriel a 9. I'll give Holding a 7. Tierney a 7. Both El Neni and Partey. Thomas Partey gets a 10. He was the man of the match of the whole team. He was outstanding. Mohamed El Neni gets a 9. Hector Bellerin, decent game, 7. Bukayo Saka gets the same. Willian for me, gets a 7. Aubameyang gets an 8 because of that penalty. And then Lacazette, I'll give Lacazette 7.5. He definitely had some good hold-up play. And Mikel Arteta gets a 9. He was tactically superb today. And yeah, for the viewers and for all Manchester United fans, I feel your pain. Being 15th in the league is not fun, and something's got to change because winless at Old Trafford so far this season, and it is just dreadful. Well, anyways, that's the end of my my post-game analysis, and you'll be hearing more of it from Jose and Sirius this week on our episode, and hopefully for our special guest, he is a Manchester United fan, and if he's there, he'll give a little intake on it as well. But I just want to give you what I think, and it was just awful in every single way, shape, and form for Manchester United, and superb for Arsenal. Well, anyways, we've reached the end of the show today. If you liked what you saw, smash a like on this video. If you think serious questions should be asked of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and getting towards that point of being Ole out, smash a like on this video. And also, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with us and what we are doing here at PL Primetime, at Premier League Primetime on Instagram. It is at PL Primetime on Instagram. Anyways, thank you for your time for watching this, and hope you enjoyed this video. And wherever you are watching this in the world, have a good day/evening.